Okay, so how many of you take some kind of dietary supplement? It could be a vitamin, could be a mineral, it could be protein, could be creatine, could be Gatorade, Powerade, Luna bars, protein bars, anything like that. Maybe I should say who doesn't, right? So quite a few people consume them, and in fact about 80% of the adult population in the United States takes at least one, and some are taking 4 and 5 and 10. And so what's wrong with that? Or is there anything wrong with that? Or should we all be doing it? Should the other 20% be doing it? So those are some of the kinds of things I want to talk to you a little bit about. I also want to educate you a little bit about dietary supplements themselves. We're going to talk about how they're regulated. We're going to talk about what the labeling is like, so that when you're looking at a package, you kind of know what that's telling you or not telling you. And then I want to make sure that if you've got questions, that I'm going to try to answer those. So if as we go along you've got a question and you write it on that card, I'm going to collect those cards at the end and make sure that I've answered everything in there. And if you have other questions along the way, feel free to raise your hand and I'm going to try to get everything answered that I can for you. Okay, so I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in exercise physiology. A master's degree in public health, and I'm a registered dietitian, and I've done various things as a registered dietitian, one of which was I was a sport nutritionist in private practice, so I worked with some athletes, and now I actually teach sport nutrition to the athletic training, nutrition, and kines majors at Incarnate Word. So I've been around sports dietetics for a long time. I've been around sports and exercise for 25 plus years. So it's something that's really important to me and that I really enjoy, but I've seen a really big shift in the last 25 years from nutrition not really playing that big of a role in exercise and sport to now it plays a pretty big role, but the nutrition in sport is not always necessarily coming from the people who have the most knowledge about nutrition in sport. So what's this definition here? Material consisting essentially of protein, carbohydrate, and fat used in the body of an organism to sustain growth, repair, and vital processes and to furnish energy. What do you think that's the definition of?
Food.
Food. That's food, okay? That's food. This is a definition of a supplement. Supplement is something that is added to, right? If I'm supplementing something, I'm adding to what's there originally. Supplement means in addition to, not instead of. A supplement should never be taken in place of food. That's not its job. Its job is to be in addition to the nutrients that you're getting from food. Okay? So for some people, they say, well, I'm going to go eat burgers and fries, but I take a vitamin pill, so I should be just fine. Is that true? Probably not. So supplementation is addition to, not instead of. Keep that in mind when you're looking at what you take. So if I ask you guys, some of you are in my class, my nutrition class, so they probably know the answers to this. But for those of you who are not in my nutrition class, if I asked you what kind of foods make up a healthy diet, what would you say? Vegetables. What else?
Fats.
Fruit. What kind of fats?
I can't remember.
It's okay, I like it. Usually what we call unsaturated fats, right? Sometimes I call them good fats. They say, oh, avocado has good fat, right? Yeah, yay. Somebody said protein. What kind of protein? We're talking about protein foods. What kind of protein foods?
You mean like fish and
Sure, yeah.
chicken?
Fish, chicken, nuts, dairy products maybe, those kinds of things. So you guys are right. Fruits and vegetables, for sure. I think if we went and asked 100 people on the street, are fruits and vegetables healthy for you? How many out of 100 do you think would say yes? Probably all of them, right? Everybody knows that fruits and vegetables are good for you. Most people know that nuts and seeds are good for you. Great sources of protein, really good sources of those good or healthier fats that we've talked about, that was mentioned before. And then of course fish, lean protein food, other lean protein foods like that. Of course we've got a little asparagus here, those are more vegetables. So certainly all of those things make up part of a healthy diet. You didn't have to take a nutrition class to know that. right? I mean, the nutrition class might tell you why, but why do we know that these things are healthy?
They're not processed foods.
Okay, they're not processed. What's a processed food? Yeah, a processed food is anything that's been changed from its original form. So when you take an apple and turn it into applesauce, it's been processed. Okay? If you take wheat and turn it into crackers, you processed it. Okay? So these tend to be whole foods, don't they? We're eating the whole tomato, we're eating the whole apple, we're eating the whole carrot. They're not cut into small pieces, added with a bunch of additives, and put in a box. Okay? So that does make them definitely healthier. And all of this information is based on research projects, research studies that have been published in hundreds, probably thousands of journals, where lots of people have looked at diets and how do they relate to health and disease. And like I said, in the last 20 years, we started looking at diets and how they relate to sport and exercise. You know, before the 1950s, we never really put together the idea that the nutrients in food were related to health. We really only cared about how much food people were eating, not necessarily what foods. And then starting in the 1950s, we had really, really high levels of heart disease in this country, and we still do, but they were the highest they've ever been, and people started looking, well, maybe there's a link between what people are eating. So in the time when you guys have been alive, that's always been part of your, you know, you hear about it on TV or on the radio, but that has not always been the case. And then in World War II, we didn't care what people ate, we just wanted to make sure they got enough food. So now we've kind of run this gamut the other direction. And if you look at a healthy diet and you look at what the characteristics of a healthy diet, it's adequate. What does adequate mean? You get everything you need, right? From a healthy diet. It's balanced. What does balance mean? Everything you need in the right amounts, right? Calorie control, that's a big one. That's a tough one for us, right? Because what percentage of adults in the United States are overweight or obese? Any guesses? A high number, definitely a high number. It's about 2/3, 2 out of 3. So calorie control is really big, right? Does anybody know what nutrient dense means? Megan does because she's in my class. Trevor does because he's in my class.
Is that like a portion?
Kind of, yeah. It's like how many nutrients are there per bite or nutrients per amount that you're consuming. So you want to choose foods that have lots of nutrients for few calories. Like, oh my gosh, fruits and vegetables. Lots and lots, they are nutrient dense. Lots of nutrients, not very much. You hear about eating things in moderation all the time. And then this is a really, really important one, variety. Most Americans eat the same 10 foods all the time. You go to the grocery store, you buy the same ingredients. You fix the same recipes. When you go to is this you? You go to a restaurant, you know that restaurant, you order the same thing every time you go to that restaurant? Yeah, you're typical, right? You're a typical human, a typical American. But variety is really important. If those 10 foods that you eat all the time have a wide variety of nutrients, you're good to go. Come on in. If those same 10 foods that you eat all the time are not very good for you, then you're kind of in trouble. If it's all pizza and tacos and cheeseburgers and candy bars and chips and sodas, you're not going to get all the nutrients you need. But then you say, well, then I'll just take a vitamin and it'll be fine. Not the same, not the same. So dietary supplements, a lot of people take dietary supplements. It's more, we make about $15 billion a year selling dietary supplements in this country. It's a huge industry, right? You can't go to a strip mall without seeing a nutrition store. I love it when they say, look, it's a general nutrition store, and you walk in, do you see any food there? What do you see? Rows and aisles of pills, okay? But it's all natural. So is there a tree in your backyard that grows those pills? Because if there is, I want to plant one in my yard. Yeah, so I love these nutrition stores that have no food in them. But we generate more than $15 billion a year in sales each year. This is sports foods, so that would be things like the Gatorade, the Powerade, the protein bars, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, dietary supplements that are more, usually they come in a pill form or a powder form or something like that. So who regulates dietary supplements? Well, who regulates drugs in this country? Anybody know? FDA, Food and Drug Administration, right? Well, dietary supplements, are they drugs? they look like drugs, right? They're pills, they're in a little thing, right? Sometimes there's cotton in the top you have to take out before you get to them, just so they don't bang up against each other. But are they considered drugs? They're not. They're considered food. And they're considered food. In 1994, Congress passed a law called the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act. And in that act, Congress said that dietary supplements are food, not drugs. And because they're food, they're going to be regulated like food. Okay? So how is food regulated in this country? Do you have to, if you're going to go sell apples at the farmer's market, do you have to call FDA and say, can you come check my farm to make sure I'm growing apples? No. So, but if there was E. coli in your apple and you sold it to someone and they got sick, what would happen? FDA would track you down, right? Well, that's the same thing with dietary supplements. You can sell whatever you want, but if there are adverse reactions where people get sick or somebody dies or there's some negative consequences from what you sell, then the FDA will come and find you. But they're only going to come and look at what you do if a consumer says, I got sick, or this is false advertising. Okay? So dietary supplements are not really regulated before they go on the market. They're only regulated or looked at if there was a problem. Just like if you got salmonella from eating salad, then the FDA steps in. Now we do regulate, the Federal Trade Commission regulates labeling on supplements. And dietary supplements, because they're food, they have to follow the same label laws as a packaged food. So those are the same. That labeling is the same. But in terms of deciding, when a dietary supplement's on the market, when you walk into GNC and you see those rows and rows and rows of things and you're standing there trying to decide what to buy, nobody has looked at that before you buy it. Nobody has looked and said, oh yeah, this works great. Or yes, there's definitely this amount of this ingredient in this product. No one does that. So it's all consumer driven. It's all buyer beware. Okay. The Federal Trade Commission on the labeling says that if they have to follow the exact same labeling laws as food, and they can't ever say they're going to cure something or relieve a specific disease or condition. They can't say it cures headaches. They can't say it cures Alzheimer's. They can't say that it reduces your risk of heart disease. They can't say that. That's against the law. They can't say that. They could say it's heart healthy, but they couldn't say this will reduce your risk of heart disease. So these are the categories of dietary supplements: vitamins and minerals, right? A one a day, or a single vitamin that you might take. It could be an herb, like St. John's wort or echinacea or ginkgo biloba, something like that. Botanical could be something, again, like St. John's wort. It's a plant, right? It could be something like a protein supplement, an amino acid supplement. It could be medium chain triglycerides like you find in coconut oil. It could be a carbohydrate thing like you find in Gatorade, something like that. It could be just additional calories, or lots of supplements out there, or combinations of all of these things. So because they're not really regulated, the manufacturer or the distributor is responsible for the safety of that supplement. And they have to assure you, the consumer, that it's safe to consume. No one checks it before they sell it. So we could right now go, you can buy on the internet, you can buy capsules, empty capsules. We could stuff them with baking soda, right? Put the lid on it, put it in, we can buy the bottles. We could go have our picture before and after taken, shrink wrap it around the bottle, and go sell it for whatever we wanted to, and no one could stop us. That's not against the law. You're thinking, we could make a lot of money doing that, right? So that's food supplement manufacturers. Les, can you click on this link for me?
Yes.
One of the things that does happen, though, is that if the FDA does if you do have some kind of problem with a dietary supplement, you can go to the FDA website and report an adverse effect. You can say, I took this supplement and this is what happened to me. And if the FDA gets enough of those complaints about a particular supplement, it will start to investigate. And so you can see here, this is a, is it coming up?
It takes a while. This computer runs real slow.
Oh, okay.
I'll minimize it, and so when it pops up, we'll know.
What the FDA does then is, well, it'll send warning letters. So if you're taking a dietary supplement and you want to know if the company or the supplement that you're taking, that company has had a warning letter, you can go to the Food and Drug Administration website, write in warning letters, and then you can search under your warning letters to say, hey, is this supplement, have they been given a warning? And the warning might be for something like the plant is unsanitary. Or it might be that the ingredients list is not correct. There's ingredients in there that aren't really there, or there are ingredients that shouldn't be in there that are. So this was a study that was done, or they looked at dietary supplement firms. So this is companies that make dietary supplements. And they went and looked, the FDA inspectors went to about 600 of these dietary supplement manufacturers or distributors. And they looked, there are thousands of them in the United States. But they looked at them, and 7 out of 10 or 70% of them got dinged for something. So some of them got dinged because they had misleading or false advertising. Some of them got dinged because the plant was unsanitary. Ooh, yuck, right? Some of them got dinged because the ingredients lists were not correct. Okay, but we're looking at 70% out of the 600 groups that they looked at got something was wrong with it. Now that's 600 out of, there are probably 10,000 companies in the United States that will sell dietary supplements that we know of. Okay, that doesn't include all the stuff on the internet that's sold from outside the country. Canada, Mexico, India, China, right? You can go on the internet, you don't necessarily know where that website's coming from. So those don't get inspected at all. Okay, but if they're in the United States, they do get inspected. So this is one way you can go to the FDA website and look and see, oh, is mine on the list? Because if it is, maybe I want to pick something different. Okay. All right, so you guys might take supplements, or you know people who take them. Why?
Maybe better results.
Okay, so you're looking for better results in some kind of fitness program? Okay. What else?
Maybe more energy.
Energy.
Help you gain muscle.
Gain muscle. What else? Lose weight.
Taking some certain vitamins.
Maybe vitamins or minerals because you think your diet might be inadequate. Lots of reasons, right? Lots of people, some people take it for health reasons. Some people take it for aesthetic reasons. I want to look better. I want to feel better. I want to have more energy. Okay? Well, how do you know that what you're taking works?
Question.
You believe it, right? We want to believe, don't we? We want to believe that it's true. I want to believe that if I just take this pill, that I can go eat a cheeseburger and it's all going to be okay. I really want to believe that. There are a million reasons why people take it. Sometimes their doctors tell them to take it, right? Sometimes your doctor, you might have had a blood test and the doctor says, oh, your calcium's kind of low, I think maybe you should take a supplement. But a lot of people are taking supplements and they're not really sure why they're taking them. You know, the guy at the gym told me I should take it, so I'm taking it. So one of the things you have to think about is, why am I taking this and what do I expect to gain by this? Because it's a cost-benefit thing, right? Supplements are not free, are they? No, and some of them are really expensive. You might be spending $30, $60, $100 a month on supplements. What are you spending on food? People say, I can't afford to eat healthy food. I can't afford, you know that healthy stuff we put up there? Fruits and vegetables, they're too expensive. Nuts and seeds, they're expensive. Fish, lean protein foods, they're expensive. But I might spend 50 or 60 bucks a month on some kind of protein powder that I can take, right? In the belief that it's gonna help me. There was actually a study done, Harvard School of Public Health looked at dietary intake. And they said, you know, because people will say, you know, it's too expensive. Healthy food, buying healthy food is more expensive than buying unhealthy food. And I agree, right? If you got your cart full of packaged food, or you've got your cart full of fruits and vegetables, per calorie, the fruits and vegetables are a little bit more expensive. You know how much more? According to Harvard, $1.50 a day. Costs you an extra $1.50 a day to buy fruits, vegetables, lean, good quality fish, chicken, lean beef, low-fat dairy products, nuts and seeds. An extra $1.50 a day. That's $45 a month. Okay, that's what it would cost you. Instead of buying stuff in packages, you're probably spending that on a supplement. And probably not getting all the stuff you're going to get in food. So people who say it's too expensive, I always say, well, what's a trip to the doctor's office worth? You have a heart attack, that's pretty expensive. So think about why you're taking it. I would venture to say that most people, especially in the sport industry, are taking it for one of two reasons. One is aesthetics. I want to look better. Really powerful motivator, right? And the second reason is I want to perform better in whatever is my particular sport, right? For some people, if you are a competitive athlete, you're playing on a team, you're competing in bodybuilding competitions, you are competing in, you're running marathons in competition, something like that, then I can see where there might be a tweaking of your diet and a tweaking of your supplement intake that might be beneficial for you. But for most people, if we're talking about 80% of the adult population is taking these things, probably 40% of them are taking them in some form to improve performance or gain muscle, right? They're not competing in anything. What do they need all that muscle for? For aesthetic reasons. They want to look better. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to look good. But this is a body image issue. And so, what does your body image say about you? Well, what do we tell young women they have to look like? Young women are supposed to look how? If you're going to be a beautiful young woman, how do you look? Thin.
Like that picture.
Like this picture, okay? So this is Jessica Alba. Everybody know who she is, right? Actress Jessica Alba. This is the actual picture that the photographer took of Jessica Alba, okay? Now this is the picture that was in the magazine. See any difference? What did they do to... Jessica Alba is a beautiful woman, right? She's thin, she's attractive. Look what did they do to her in the magazine? They made her even slimmer. What else did they do? They enhanced her boobs so you can see her cleavage now, right? What else did they do to her? They changed her eyebrow a little bit, made her lipstick brighter, changed the lighting on her face, slimmed down her arms a bit, slimmed down her legs a bit. And so what do you see in a magazine? You see this. Are you ever going to look like this? No, she doesn't even look like that. All right, so that's the message that we're giving young girls, right? Okay. See this? This is G.I. Joe from about 1970. I had this G.I. Joe when I was a kid. He married my Barbie. So this is G.I. Joe in 1970. This G.I. Joe was the male doll that said, okay, little boys, this is what you should look like, right? This is what a man looks like, okay? This is G.I. Joe in 1995 and 2000. Now this is what we're telling little boys they should look like. Does anybody even really look like that? Unless they're on steroids? Yeah, unless they're taking some kind of botanical, right? There's no way you can get this way. But this is the message that we're sending. We even have Spanx for men now. You know what Spanx are? Women know. The girls know what Spanx are, right? We even have Spanx for men. Look, it firms your chest and narrows your waist. It's a compression t-shirt, right? So it pushes in all your love handles. These guys are like, how do I get one of those? You don't need to gain muscle. Just wear some Spanx, my friends, under your clothes. You're going to look awesome. So what are we telling people? We're giving these people these false expectations about what they should look like. And then we're selling them supplements and telling them all you have to do is take this and you can do that. Does that make any sense at all? It's crazy, isn't it? But we want to believe in miracles. We do. Okay, so when you're looking at a dietary supplement, these are the things that have to be on the label, just like on a package of crackers or cookies or whatever else on a package you might buy at the grocery store. It's got to have an ingredients list, and this becomes a little bit controversial in dietary supplements because sometimes the ingredients list will have things in it on the ingredients list that aren't actually in the product. And sometimes they'll have stuff in the product that's not in the ingredients list. Because who's regulating it? No one. And the other thing is, you guys have seen all of these, right? They look almost just like the food ones. Usually there's a big long list of stuff, and then sometimes you'll see these little asterisks on the side, and that's because there isn't a recommendation for that particular nutrient, or it's not even a nutrient. It's not even considered a nutrient. Okay? They put it in there. Sounds really good. A lot of these things sound like really scientific, and if it's a science word, it must be awesome, right? But that's what that looks like. You'll also see under percent daily value on a nutrition facts panel, whether it's on food or on a supplement, the percent daily value tells you what percentage of the recommended intake for the day of that particular nutrient is provided by one serving of this food. Okay. So in this example, you can't see this very well, but this says thiamine, which is a B vitamin. There's 5,000% of your daily value in that. There's 5,000%, there's 5,000 times more than you need, based on science, in that product. Okay, now the thing about thiamine, just for an example, is it is a water-soluble vitamin. And if you consume excess water-soluble vitamins, you know what you do with the excess? You pee it out. Have you ever noticed that you started taking all these dietary supplements and then your urine got like super yellow or maybe even kind of green? And you're like, that looks a little different. That's all those water-soluble nutrients you just paid for and now are flushing down the toilet. Okay? All right. You also see a lot of times on supplements, you'll see the term proprietary blend. Okay? You don't see that in food, but you see it on supplements, proprietary blend. Proprietary blend usually means one of two things. One is, I'm not going to tell the competition what's in my product. Like Coke, right? Coca-Cola does not want to share its recipe for Coke. Proprietary blend means I don't have to share my recipe. But what it also means sometimes under proprietary blend is no one's checking. So these expensive ingredients that I say are in my product, I'm not really going to put them in there. But if I put it under proprietary blend, you'll never know and no one regulates it. And now, unfortunately, that's where most of the time happens. So you'll see proprietary blend, and this is just a supplement. There's 4,145 milligrams per serving of a proprietary blend. And then they put this big list of stuff underneath it. And they say, this is what's in it. We don't know how much of each thing is in it. And honestly, it could be 0. But if it falls under proprietary blend, they don't have to share. The big issue really for proprietary blend is that sometimes too, like I said with ingredients, sometimes there are ingredients in the product that aren't on that list. And that becomes really important if you are in competition of some sort and maybe they're doing some kind of testing for banned substances. Sometimes when you'll get banned from a sport because when you peed, when they did a urine test on you, you had some ingredient in your urine that is a banned substance. And it wasn't on the list. It was under proprietary blend. You didn't know it was in there, but it's still your fault. You still get, even though maybe it's not, you're like, well, I didn't know it was in there. Too bad, you're still out. You can't compete. So if you're going to, so you need to be careful with things that say proprietary blend on them. Some of them might be fine, but some of them won't, and there's no way to tell just by looking which ones are okay and which ones aren't. All right, now I also see claims, lots of claims. So there are 3 types of claims that can be on food or on supplements. These 2, nutrient claims, talk about how much is of a particular nutrient as a product. So anytime you see fat-free, okay, that's a nutrient claim. Perfectly legal. In order to put fat-free on a Chiquita banana, I had to get permission from the FDA to do that. I had to prove that there was no fat in my banana, okay, to put fat-free on it. So if you see low fat, light, sugar-free, sodium, low sodium, things like that, those are all nutrient claims, and the Food and Drug Administration has to approve those. That's true for food, and that's true for supplements. Health claims talk about a nutrient in the food or an ingredient in the food or in the supplement that is related to a particular disease or condition. So the soluble fiber from oatmeal may reduce your risk of heart disease, okay? If I'm going to put something about heart disease on my label, supplement label, I have to get permission from the FDA.
Is that the same thing as low cholesterol, honey nut sugar?
Maybe, yeah. You'd have to, if it says something about this is a low cholesterol product and it may reduce your risk of heart disease, that would be the same.
Okay.
So it usually will say may or might. It's going to talk about some kind of disease or condition. The calcium in milk may increase the density of your bones and reduce your risk of osteoporosis. Okay? If I'm going to put that in my milk carton, I can do that as long as I prove to the FDA that I have that ingredient and that's what I've got. So nutrient claims and health claims have to be approved by the Food and Drug Administration. A lot of supplements get in trouble because they put, especially health claims, on their products, which is against the rules. They can't say it's going to cure headaches, or it's going to cure insomnia, or it's going to reduce your risk of infection or something like that. They can't say that. So oftentimes the reason that your supplement manufacturer gets in trouble is because it made an illegal claim. So to avoid that, what most supplement manufacturers do is they use what are called structure function claims. Most packaged foods, processed foods, use these as well. So it's not just supplements. But structure function claims talk about either the structure of the product, okay, it's light in color, or they talk about the function of a product. They'll say it's heart healthy, it's immune support, okay, it builds strong bones. They can say it builds strong bones, they can't say it reduces your risk of osteoporosis. Structure function claims do not require any FDA approval. You can say whatever you want as long as you don't talk about a specific disease. So when you look at labels and when you look at advertisements for supplements, that's what you see a lot of is structure function claims. Supports immunity, promotes a healthy heart, builds strong bones, improves your love life, whatever it might be. So here's some, right? Made with real honey. So what? Who cares? Right? That's a structure function claim. Made with real fruit. Okay, great. Heart healthy. So what? Immune support. Big deal. You can pretty much put immune support or supports your immune system on any food or processed food or product that contains any vitamin or mineral at all. They can put supports your immune system. 100% are made with whole grains. That could be one little piece of whole grain, or it could be thousands of pieces of whole grain. You don't know what. So what? Made with whole grain. Made with organic wheat. Who cares? One little piece of wheat or 10,000 pieces of wheat. We don't know because it's a structure function claim, and no one checks it and no one has to approve it. Okay? So you see a lot of those on things. You'll also see a lot of stuff in advertising. I'm going to show you a few ads too. So are supplements necessary? Maybe. If the athlete is well nourished, which is what the problem is, right? You think, well, I don't eat very well, I'm going to take supplements instead. If the athletes are well nourished, they probably don't need supplements, and lots of really good athletes, amazing Olympic athletes, they're not taking supplements. 5,000 years ago, we got by without supplements. Those guys exercised all day, every day. Why do we need them now? And then the big question is, are they efficacious? Efficacy means, do they do what they say they do? Do they work? And if you really look at the evidence, you're going to find very little scientific support for most supplements. This is a really important thing. Testimonials are not proof. They're anecdotes. An anecdote is a story. Let me tell you a story. I went on Nutrisystem and I lost 50 pounds. That's my story. That's an anecdote. So, of course, they use authority, right? They'll put, I'm a personal trainer, right? or I'm a doctor. They'll leave lots of stories, before and after pictures. This guy lost 54 pounds. My guess is they took that picture the same day. And that would not be unheard of. Because you take this guy, in fact, I've heard this guy interviewed where they did that. He was gonna make the supplement. He said, I need a before and after picture. So he said, can you take my before picture? And the photographer said, sure. So he said, okay, before picture, stand there, look sad, kind of slump a little, right? And don't really look at the camera and don't smile. Click, that's the before picture. And then he says, well, when should I come back for my after picture? And he goes, no, we'll take it right now. So the guy says, okay, go in the back. They shaved his chest, they gave him a spray tan, they plucked his eyebrows, they cut his hair, they made him look all good. They put on a different color pair of shorts. This guy is wearing the same shorts even. Put on a different color pair of shorts. They said, stand up nice and straight and tall, smile, click, and then they photoshopped him. My guess is, taking the exact same thing. Look, this guy's even taller than this guy. Crazy, right? Same person. Lots of warped statistics, and it's all marketing. Now, this is not new. We've had ads around for years, right? This one, all you gotta do is listen to this record, and it's gonna keep you from consuming calories. That's all you gotta do. This one, you hold it on your body where you want the fat to be reduced and plug it in and just, right? Cool, right? This is, you've heard of snake oil salesmen? In the 1920s and 30s, there was a thing called snake oil salesman. This is an actual ad out of the 1930s newspaper that says, look, now if I just read what this is gonna do, think for yourself if you've heard of this in any supplements, right? Relieves instantaneously, cures headaches, can't read that one, toothache, earaches, backaches, some chest swelling of the throat, contracted something or another, and muscles, stiff joints. Snake oil liniment cures all aches and pains. You ever heard that before? Probably something similar. With snake oil, there were the guys who would go around the country, pull out their samples and sell them in town and say, this will cure anything. It's pure rattlesnake oil. I don't know how we got it, but and I don't want to know. Not regulated either. Here's one. Oh, this is from the 1925, about 1925, 1930. This is soap. All you got to do is rub the soap on you and your fat will melt away. Anybody ever seen cream that you're supposed to rub on your legs to get rid of your cellulite? Same thing. They were doing it 100 years ago. Vitamin donuts, right? We're going to add vitamins to donuts, and these donuts are going to give us pep and vigor. You've heard that before, right? You have low energy, take these pills, right? Or take this fortified food and you're going to feel better. Here's some more pep, vitamins for pep. Yay, you feel so great when you're taking vitamins. Of course, we have modern ads, right? Lose up to 30 pounds in 6 weeks. There's our before and after. Here's one, right? No side effects. It's natural. It's natural. What does natural mean? Nothing. It's a structure function plan. It's all natural ingredients. It's a pill. There's nothing natural about a pill. Right? It didn't grow on a tree. It didn't come out of the ground. Crazy, right? Oh, you can't see her, but oh, it says underneath here, she's a personal trainer and she was on Dr. Oz. She's an expert, she must know. Look at this. It's $150 value, but we're only going to charge you $9. What do you have to lose? Just do it. Look at all this great stuff you can get. Lose 25 pounds fast. Oh, what are these guys selling? If you just take this lipofusion extreme, you're going to look like that. That's all you got to do. Take the pill. And this one's really fun. This is part of our warp statistics. Okay? This says it's going to expand work. It's going to go 400% faster than other pre-workout formulas. It's going to get into your system 400% faster. And you think, oh, gosh, that's awesome. 400% faster. So let's do the math here. Any math majors in here? Okay, so let's think about 400%. So if this is saying it's going to get into my system 400% faster than my competitors, if it usually takes 60 seconds to get in my system, what's 100% of 60 seconds? 60 seconds, right? But this guy is saying it's going to be 400% faster. So it's going to be negative 180 seconds. So this is going to get into your system 3 minutes before you even take it. Gotta be good, right? So don't fall for this stuff, guys. Don't fall for it. So if something comes out of a journal like this, great. If something comes out of a journal like this, probably not, right? And if you do take dietary supplements, really need to ask yourself, why are you taking the dietary supplement and why are you not taking food instead? Food is proven to be beneficial. Food is proven to help you. So if you're taking a supplement instead of food, why are you not trying food? Any questions? Does that depress you? Are you like, oh man, really? Nobody has any questions? Can I see your cards? Can I have your cards back? You filled out a card?
If you have cards, just pass them down
Yeah,
this
I wanna
way.
see
and
what you
we'll
guys-
collect them.
If you have questions.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nobody has any questions for me, huh?
I think it's.
So a lot of people, it looks like, are taking protein supplements to increase muscle mass, etc. How do you, how much additional muscle do you think you can get from consuming additional protein? I mean, are we talking 5 pounds? Are we talking 10 pounds? Are we talking 30 pounds? What do you think? Who takes protein for muscle building? Now you don't want to raise your
Nobody
hand,
wants to
right? Yeah, nobody's looking at me. One thing about protein, and protein's really hard right now, like protein is a miracle, isn't it? Like as long as protein's in something, right, you can eat as much as you want. Is that true, nutrition people, Megan and Trevor? No, that's not true. If I eat more protein than I need, guess what happens to it? It gets stored as fat. If I eat more fat than I need, it gets stored as fat. If I eat more carbohydrate than I need, it gets stored as fat. So it doesn't matter where it came from originally, it's going to get stored as fat. Protein's not magic. There is nothing magic about it. It contains calories, exact same number of calories as carbohydrate. It certainly is beneficial if you're not consuming enough protein, like you're in big trouble. But over-consuming protein is not really beneficial. If I eat a steak tonight, are my muscles bigger in the morning? What makes me think that if I take a protein powder tonight, my muscles are what makes your muscles bigger? Exercise, right? Doing more today than you did yesterday. Could you gain muscle without taking extra protein? Yeah, as long as you're consuming enough protein in your diet. Oh my gosh, in your diet. From food. How much protein do you need? Good question. Generally speaking, if you're pretty sedentary, you need no more than 0.5 gram per pound that you weigh, okay? So if you weigh 150 pounds, no more than 75 grams. Now a lot of trainers will say you need 1 gram per pound. That's the maximum amount you could ever possibly absorb. And it's 1 gram per pound if you're working out 2, 3, 4 hours a day pretty hard. If you're working out an hour a day in the gym and, it's not going to make much difference.
And a kilogram is about a half, almost. Not, it's what, 2.2?
Yeah, so that's why I do about 0.5 gram per pound. What the official number is 0.8 grams for every kilogram that you weigh. So I switch it to about 0.5 gram per pound.
Same
That's
thing.
where the 1 gram per pound comes from. They do these nitrogen balance studies that show that, this is the maximum amount that you could possibly consume. So if you go over that at all, and some people, just in the supplements they're consuming, they're getting 1 gram per pound. Plus they're eating food.
I think on most protein supplements that I've seen, they use the 1 pound per
1 gram.
1 gram per pound of body weight.
They do, yeah. And that's what I'm telling. That's a maximum of absorption. Most people are going to need less than that. And so that additional stuff that you're consuming, and sometimes if you're looking at the the label, you know, just in your protein shakes that you're consuming. You're not counting the protein you're getting in the foods that you're eating. And here's the other thing, my other issue with protein supplementation, besides the fact that it's probably more protein than you need, and that it's super expensive. It's way more expensive to take a protein powder than it is to actually buy food that contains protein. But the protein powder doesn't contain fiber, it doesn't contain micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. It doesn't contain other things that you might need, whereas food, nature has packaged food in such a way that it has such an abundance of nutrients in a particular food. We're not piecemealing it and say, well, this is my protein source, and this is my carbohydrate source, and this is my vitamin source. You can eat 1 or 2 or 5 things and get it all. So nature has done a really good job with that. We didn't spend $15 billion on supplementation until 1994 when Congress deregulated it, and then it exploded. Before 1994, we got by on food. Oh. Did we not have great athletes before 1994? Of course, we had fabulous athletes, really great athletes, based on food. So always try food first. And if you're thinking, I can't afford food, I don't know how to cook, I don't know how to do this, you're going to spend that much money on a supplement because you think it's going to work, you want to believe in miracles, and the placebo effect is incredibly powerful. What does placebo mean? Fake. You think it's going to work, so it works. Okay? Yeah. So save your money, buy good food, eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, lean protein. See how you feel. You're going to get more nutrients, probably for about the same amount of money, and it tastes pretty good. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.